In this episode, I talked to my friend Rachel about invisible disabilities, how to create community, how to stay grounded, and this really cute story about how she met her girlfriend. You're going to love this one. Enjoy. Yay! You have a rocking chair?
Yes.
All right. Well, welcome, Rachel. So we first met at the White House in 2024. I remember seeing you, and I remember being like, that seems like a nice person.
Yes.
And
that's crazy that's how I forgot that's how because ever since then we've been doing other things and seeing each other other places, but that's where we met.
Yeah, a lot has happened since then. Definitely. But I'd see you as this creator that you're really fun and you raise awareness on invisible disabilities and other really important things like progressive issues. But you have a really approachable vibe, like you feel as though you're a friend to everyone. So thank you for that.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
How would you describe what you do as a content creator?
I mean, pretty much the same way. I try to raise awareness for invisible disabilities and make everybody feel included on how they're able to see different disabilities and kind of the whole spectrum of disabilities, mental health disabilities, and physical disabilities that you can't see. So I see myself as kind of a person who is in the middle between like able-bodied people and disabled people that have visible disabilities. You know what I mean? Because there's a large conglomerate of people who like have chronic illnesses and they're like, I don't know where I fit in. And then I'm like, hey y'all.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I even have an autoimmune issue, and I don't even know if that even qualifies or fits into anything. Like, it's an invisible thing. Only I know I have it. But yeah, it is really important to feel like people are seen and included into a community.
Yeah, like especially because it depends on like how you identify with your disability. Like you said that you have like an autoimmune disorder, and as long as it like impacts your life, you know, that can be qualified as a disability, you know?
Yeah, I've never thought about that. What can I ask you what your specific disability is?
Yes. So there's quite a few. So it started when I was 18 months old. I was diagnosed with juvenile idiopathic arthritis, which is basically where my immune system attacks my joints. And then I have Crohn's disease, where my immune system attacks my like gastrointestinal, like stomach area and such. Uveitis, where my immune system attacks my eye, so I'm blind in my right eye. And then there's a bunch of other things that have formed since then.
All right. So, did you start just creating content around that?
Yeah, pretty much. I was stuck like in my room kind of during COVID era, and I just like I had identified with my chronic illness and disabilities for so long, but I didn't label myself as disabled. So I would just say hey to Apollo.
Oh, hi! I've seen Apollo before in a call.
Yeah, he loves to interrupt calls. But it's okay because he's my baby.
Wow. Wow, so pretty. Yeah, I wish Juniper was here, but she's outside that door, so she won't be making an appearance today.
No, Juniper! That's okay. Next time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was in my room and I was also like kind of finding like who I was. It's kind of a lot of like self-discovery. like I was chronically ill, different from other kids, trying to find a creative outlet. And I had always been like on social media in one way or another. So I just started like talking about it in like, I used my experiences, and people really related, or they didn't and were rude, or they like really related. One or the other.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there is a group of people that really do relate because it's such a specific topic. So you ended up attracting this community that knew what you were talking about, and you're speaking to them. What got you into creating content on other issues that you care about?
I realized that what I was doing was basically, it was kind of like organizing. Um, and I realized also I have always existed within kind of a political atmosphere. Like my mom would be very like she always was very like involved in voting and making sure like her civil duties are done. So that added with the kind of like, I know how disability is, like healthcare is political, and that's kind of how I found out there's a whole range of other things that I can like talk about that need another voice, and I can be that voice, like for Medicaid and the 504 thing that's going on right now and all of it.
Oh, yes, I want to ask you about that, but it is
Mm-hmm.
super interesting that your identity is just naturally political,
Mm-hmm.
just your existence. All these laws are going to affect you. So it makes sense that you would be in that space to begin with. Like, I feel that about like LGBTQ issues that, or like trans issues, it's all connected in this way and it all relates.
Yeah.
And I do also relate to like having a mom who's invested in that space. I feel like my mom was always really liberal and outspoken about things, and I wasn't, or I didn't think I had anything to do with it, but I'd see her like tweeting at senators and whatnot and be like, okay, mom, you do that. But I guess it seeped in because now I'm realizing how important it is to care about those things.
Yeah, like her just doing that from you being a young age, little old Barrie was like, oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh, like, what are you doing, mom? That's so boring. But then you're like, oh, this about me, isn't it?
Yeah. It finally resonated, or it finally sunk in. Yeah. So, what is that 504 situation?
Okay, so the 504 situation puts my hands together schemingly. So there's a lawsuit called Texas v. Becerra going on against 504, Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. And that, the 504 basically gives people the ability to, disabled people, the ability to be integrated in education. You know, if anybody like has heard of like a 504 or an IEP, even though IEP is a separate act, 504 plans for students with physical disabilities allow them to be in school, and 504 also covers some areas of like physical inclusion in working jobs. Like um, I believe there's like certain building requirements. Um, so basically, there's 17 states that are suing the federal government, saying that 504 should be abolished, um, because of a new rule that the Biden administration put in 2024 that disabled people actually like advocated for. Like we advocated for more digital inclusion, and like certain apps have to have certain accessibility standards. But these states are saying that it's like the states are twisting their words, saying, oh no, we're not going to get rid of 504. It's just because of this. And they're actually scapegoating. So this is where we can join forces, Rachel and Barrie. They're scapegoating LGBTQ people as
Mm.
as Republicans do. They're saying, oh, but the Biden administration put this language in there, so we need to get rid of it. That's threatening 504. But it's not, because they're the ones that made the lawsuit. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, these things generally feel really complicated,
Mm-hmm.
but it does sound like it affects the whole disabled community and also LGBTQ people.
Mm-hmm.
So, what okay, so what can we do about that? Is there anything we can do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think calling your state attorney generals, especially if you're in one of the 17 states that is a part of the lawsuit. I'm in Florida, so I've been bothering my interim state attorney general a bunch,
Mm-hmm.
and saying, hey, um, drop out of Texas v. Becerra, because this lawsuit is threatening disability rights and it's targeting LGBTQ people for no reason.
Mm.
And usually, what may happen is there's a whole conglomerate of these states, and their attorney generals are like, they have a defense mechanism. And I actually got like gaslit by my attorney general.
I saw that video. I saw that video you made, a reaction, and yeah, that was interesting how it was worded, and I love how you called out the gaslighting. Like you were able to see it so clearly.
Yeah, like, could you imagine working for the federal government and then going, like, getting an email from one of your constituents who is, first of all, neurodivergent and susceptible to gaslighting? I didn't know. So I had to like ask a group chat. I was like, hey, is this like with other disabled activists? I was like, can somebody help me like decipher what he's saying? They're like, oh yeah, he's that's what all the other attorney generals are saying. And I was like, what? He tried to trick me. That's so unfair.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I love how you tapped into your community to ask something that you weren't sure about.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like sometimes I wish I did that more, just asked people that may be more knowledgeable than me just for feedback and advice. I feel like that's such a nice skill to have. Just
Yeah.
being able to like be vulnerable in a group and ask for like, what do you think about this? It's
Yeah,
nice that
I
you have
love.
those communities.
Yeah, it's so important to have those communities, because I mean, we can't do like work, on our own. Everybody has their own role, and it's important for everybody to use their collective brains.
Yes. How do you find community? Or
Period.
yeah, how do you find community?
Um, I mean, there's so many people on Instagram and TikTok, but also I think if you're trying to find community in person, it depends on like your reach. I would say if you're just like a person in school who wants to meet more disabled people, then maybe like look up if there's a foundation for one of your disorders. Like mine is the Arthritis Foundation, and I love doing stuff with them because like they'll be like a camp for kids with arthritis, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. I'm like, sleepover. I'm too old for that now. But that, like, there's tons of things like that you wouldn't even realize that can build like immediate community. And then for learning more like about laws and such, I feel like online, just honestly DM your local disabled advocate that you look up to, and maybe they'll respond, or maybe you'll find a mutual of theirs and be like, they're really cool. Let me see if If you know what I mean, just YOLO it. Just
Yeah.
ask people. Just talk to people. It's hard to like say a definitive way of how to find community, but I think it's important to say that there's community in person and there's also community online.
Mm. Yeah, there's so many of those spaces, and just, I guess, being courageous enough to just like put yourself out there or show up.
Do it.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you, you have this really amazing aesthetic. I really think of the color pink when I think of you, and your headphones. What of these things make you feel like you?
I think just kind of the um, the colorfulness of it all is how I view the world. You know, I see the world through excitement and opportunities and joyfulness. And I'd like to keep it that way. I even when there's, things that absolutely suck, I think that's who I am as a person. I try to you know, always keep learning, even if it's not something that comes out of like if you're learning a personal lesson, like even if it's not always something positive that comes out of it. I feel like now we're getting to the morals of Rachel, but like this
Who is Rachel?
who
At
is
the
who
core.
at the core? Who are you, girl? I'm a lot. There's so much. I think that's what it is. It's like there's a lot going on. It's a lot of excitement and like eagerness and like just wanting to make friends. Just wanted to slay.
Yeah. Have you always been this kind of ball of sunshine?
Well, thank you. Yes. Uh,
I mean, the question is, did you have to develop that kind of mentality, or are you naturally just like that? Like, what do you do to feel like you can bring the joy?
ooh, important question. So I think as you like mature and realize just everything, uh, you know, what's that one song? It's like the more I see, the less I know. That's
Oh
like
yeah.
so like once you realize, you know, you have to take steps to protect your inner self and your authentic, joyful little being or whoever that is. Um, even if it's more like, even if your little being inside is like more of like a quiet, subdued person, there's things that you can do to protect that. Like I'm big on meditation, um, and like deep breathing. I love a good essential oil. Like taking time to yourself is so important. Setting boundaries, and not people pleasing. And because I know a lot of people like to, if you're a joyful, like upbeat person, people will definitely try to like leech off of that. Um, which valid, but like there's also a point of where you need to like just be like, hey, I need some of it too. Like let me keep my joy. Like you can have some, but only but I'm taking the
But
rest for
not all
myself.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you just dropped a lot of different things. So yeah, what's your favorite essential oil?
Ooh, ooh. Okay, so right now there's this one called Relieve that I've been using. It's by doTERRA. I don't know what it
Oh,
has
I've
in
heard of
it.
this brand. They're pretty a good quality brand. I think we might have some. I think that is the oils we use.
It's good. I have a little roller ball. And it smells so good. It's it's like a very um it's a very like plant scent and it's very grounding. I like it
Relief.
a lot. Yeah. Relief by doTERRA. Wait, sorry. Forgive by doTERRA. Forgive.
Oh, forgive.
Forgive. There's a difference. I have a relief
Forgive,
one.
not relief. Forgive.
Forgive.
Yeah.
I have a relief one from a different brand, and it comes in like one of those little like. Have you seen those ones that like they're in like a little container and they have a top on it, and you like squirt it on like a little stone, and the stone absorbs the oil.
Oh, I've seen that in a necklace form. It was kind of a pad that held the scent
Yes,
within the necklace.
it's so good. It's like that, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I like essential oils because I feel like I can't do perfumey stuff because it feels like too much chemicals or whatever. But essential oils, that feels like you get right to the source.
Yeah, get right to
I
the
like,
bottom of it.
yeah, I like tea tree and lavender, and I have a rose one. But the thing about the rose one is every time I use it, it creates like a yellow. There's some kind of yellow undertone, so it looks like a splash of yellow.
Oh,
It smells
okay.
good though.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. So, yeah, the last thing I guess I wanted to ask you is how do you take care of your well-being? But you basically answered it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like honestly it's not super consistent. Um like just kind of a variety of if you have like a little toolkit, I think put together a little physical toolkit like with things that make you happy, calm you down, ground you. Um and then if they're like things like boundaries, you can write them down so you can remember. If you're ever in a bad space, and you get back to like yourself, um, therapy is great too because that's where I got all those mechanisms is therapy. So like slay.
Therapy, yeah. Oh, what do you have in your toolkit?
So I have little affirmation cards. I have the roller ball, essential oil. I have this fidget toy that my girlfriend got for me, which is like it's a giant plastic tube, and it's separated in the middle, and it has this like goo that like comes down, and it like goes through the middle, and it like drizzles at the bottom, and then you can turn it back over when it's, and then it like it's so nice to look at, and it's pink like this color, like the goo is like this color.
Wait, you have a girlfriend?
Yes.
I was like, wait! I didn't want to interrupt that.
Yes, we can talk
Okay.
about her.
Just if you want to share anything, is this a new relationship? Is this an old relationship? I'm obsessed with love. I'm not saying you are in love, but I'm like romantic. So, just curious, what's the deal?
What's the deal?
What's the deal?
Okay, any chance to talk about my girlfriend, I will. So,
Okay.
her name is Maddie, and I've known her for like a couple of years, and just talking about her, I get so okay. So she's so pretty, she's so beautiful, she has long like blonde hair, gorgeous, gorgeous woman, and so we met like we've been mutuals on Instagram for like forever, kind of like how you and Lorenzo met, like just like being mutuals, and it was kind of like an invisible string moment, I like to say, because over the years we like would run into each other and then just keep living our lives. Like one time we ran into each other at like a pride event in our city, and then we ran into each other again at like our hospital that we both go to, and because she's also chronically ill, and then we ran into each other again at Disney, and we just kept like kind of, she's like, I don't know, like should I go like say hi to her, like she's very shy kind of gal, but then I started talking to her, and we became friends. We would do little scrapbooking like dates and stuff, and I was like, wait, like she's so cool, like how come like we've just been mutuals for all this time, and I'm like, oh gosh, I think I like her. Oh no. Oh oh God. um, so then I asked her to be my girlfriend, and we were both like super like flustered about it, and we were like, oh my gosh, like I like you too, and like oh my gosh, like yeah, I'd love to be girlfriend. So then we were girlfriends as of like November of last year. So it's been like 4 months, 5 months that we've been official and together. So
Mm.
it is a newer relationship, but I feel so like trust. I feel trust in her. She's amazing. She's an amazing human being.
That's great. I mean, it sounds like you have a lot in common, and it sounds like it was meant to be. You kept seeing each other everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally you said, what is this?
Yeah.
And yeah, that sounds great. I hope to see maybe a pic someday or some kind of content.
I know.
But
I
no
wanted to.
pressure. No pressure.
I have been wanting to since like day one. Day one that we started dating. I'm like, okay, Maddie content. Let's go. Girlfriend content.
Mm-hmm.
Girlfriend day in the life. But then
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Like I think I said that
Yeah.
before in like a call. I was like, how do you like draw the boundaries between like your relationship online versus like your relationship? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know
Yeah,
how
that's
I'd
a,
approach that.
yeah. That is a super personal question because, like, some people don't like to put their relationship online at all for very valid reasons. But I guess it's a very personal choice and up to you and your partner's
Mhm,
boundaries or what you see for
exactly.
yourself. Yeah. Well, thanks for
Yeah,
sharing that story. I feel
you're
like,
welcome.
yeah, people love a love story, a queer love story
Yes,
or
she
romance story.
actually I can tell more. Can I tell more? Do we
Oh,
have time?
sure.
Okay, great. So for Valentine's Day, she set up this entire like table in her backyard with like little like those long candles with like
Oh,
rose petals on the table, and she cooked me steak and homemade mashed potatoes and my favorite, which is snow crab. And
wow.
we had dinner outside with the little candle lights, and it was she was like when I walked up to her house, she was wearing like this long dress, like so beautiful. Like, oh, I was like, oh my gosh, she looks so pretty. It
Wow.
was just, it was so nice. So I've been telling that story a lot because I can't get the image out of my head of her like standing at the door with her dress on. I was like, oh my gosh, and her long hair. I was like, ooh, ooh, I'm so in love. I'm so in love.
Snake, is it steak and mashed potatoes? And yeah, that sounds so lovely.
It was.
Yeah, and someone who cooks for you is a keeper.
Amen.
Lorenzo cooks, and
Yes.
I didn't even know to expect that, but they're like the best cook ever, so it works out.
Because I don't know about you, but I can't cook. So,
Oh, I mean, I can cook moderate, but not to the quality. And I don't know, I can cook basic things. I do salads, soups,
real,
sauces.
real eggs, maybe, if we're feeling crazy.
Yeah, on a crazy day. Yeah. Uh, but anyway, yeah, thank you so much for this convo. You're, yeah, you're really fun to talk to. Could you just, give your handles in case everyone wants to follow you right now?
Yeah. So I'm at Rach Cutie Pie. So it's just the first four letters of my name, RACH, and then Cutie Pie. Um, on Instagram and mostly on TikTok, where I have most of my followers. You can also find me at Rach Cutie Pie on YouTube now too. I've been reposting some of my older TikToks. Um, and yeah, that's where I'm at. You can follow me, watch my hospital day in the life vlogs or school day in the life vlogs, and see what I'm doing for disability advocacy.
Yeah, perfect. I hope you just continue to do what you're doing. I know you're studying to be a nurse, so
Mhm.
that's amazing as well.
Thank you.
But yeah, keep doing what you're doing. And
Thank you.
happy to have you as a friend.
Yay. Yay. Yay for friends.
Yay. Thank you. Please like, subscribe, share it with a friend. I appreciate your love and support so much.